Hello, 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 and welcome to Making Comics and Art, episode 363. This is me, Peter Pagliatti, inking the Blood Force wraparound cover for issue 6 of the book, part 7 of this series. Although, there's more. And there's me talking. All right, let's get rid of some things. All right. Bye. Goodbye. Hello. Hello. Ready. So I really did want to stream last week working on this and possibly finishing it. But got caught up in so many other things. So how are you doing today? What are you working on? Let me know in the comments. I don't know if anybody's going to show up today. I should all right, one thing I'll do. I'll do. All right. All right. This is a little lighter. All right. One day I'll get this light balance figured out. Probably next year. It's okay. So yeah, I posted in a short that I've been posting some old work I've done And you could find that on my Instagram, but also on TikTok, if you didn't know. Essentially, if you type in my name, you could find me. And, a career as long as mine, you tend to forget some of the work you've done. Just want to make sure it's dry. But, I've worked on some pretty cool artists along the way. For DC, I've only worked on Jim Caffury, on Aquaman. But for both Marvel and Wizard Magazine, I got to work on a bunch of other artists. They gave me a lot more opportunity. Although, for Marvel, I wish I wish they gave me a freaking series. And it just wasn't in the cards. I most want to use a straight edge to do a lot of these line works. And my brush is going wacky. It's not helping. See if I can contain it. All right. Let's do. Give me room. Come on, brush. Work with me. If I don't have an exact point on the edge of my brush, defeats the purpose of me getting some good work done. Maybe I shouldn't do that right now. Let me do some of this. Okay. Nope. right. Hey. Done best name. Welcome, welcome. That's her outfit. Blah, blah. Wanted to do this little bit. All right. How are you doing today? What are you up to? Besides watching me. All right. That. Don't need lines there. Yeah. So some of the stuff I posted, and it's like I've forgotten I did. Not all of it. I do remember a bunch of it. You know, you do this work so fast. Don't always have time to relish it. All right, so this is all feathering. Hang on, quiet. It might be a quiet, calm. All right, so yeah, my brush isn't behaving today. I'll take it out back and Punch it. You know, this is Blood Force, and Blood Force is a parody of 90s comics and specifically Image Comics. And they all did this sort of cross-hatching second light, or however you call it, from below. It's something I want to practice on myself. You know, when I sketch almost mindlessly, um, I could do it accidentally, but to do it on purpose, something else entirely. All right. Let's get all right. Details. So, hey, creator outlets here. Welcome, welcome. What are you up to today? I've been meaning to look for channels I haven't seen in a while, and you're one of them. Have you been doing interviews? You can promote yourself if you want. And if everybody in the chat doesn't already have a wrench, uh, I've been giving more wrenches out. All right. So that people can come in here and share my stuff, but also share their own stuff. I know nobody can see see what I'm doing. I'll get a better setup one day. because all these figures are so big. I see doing a whole piece with just the brush. But I could see doing parts of it with a quill. And I think I'll just stick with a brush. Boom, 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 boom. What did I just do? All right, right, right. That's good. That's good. That's fine. That's fine. Tweak this. So if you didn't know, the writer, creator, artist of Blood Force is Mitch Brewer. He has his own channel. Down below, I have a link to his Kickstarter, but that's already been successfully funded, and we moved past that. um, but I should put up a link to his YouTube channel. I do have a lot of links down below. Some of them may not be active, but a lot of creators I want to support. Essentially, it's books I like. All right, all right, all right. Let's do the tempties. After this, I have to go. I have to make a mental note. I gotta go pick up some more cat food. Get some coffee creamer. I'm gonna work on. I got a third pinup for the sword and sorcery book. I'm gonna start penciling that out. Maybe I'll pencil that out tonight and hopefully finish it tomorrow. So I'd be done with one thing. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna save that. Let me 1, 2, 3. A little bit more feathering. Yeah, this 90s hatching technique is something don't really perfect. I don't really have a perfection to it yet. All right, throw lines here. Which is okay. They made it up as they went, right? I think only Jim Lee, Scott Williams perfected it. Maybe. Or maybe Dale Keane does it better. There, a little bit, a little bit. Fine. It's good. It's good. Do that. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I'm going around and looking at things and picking up little details I may have missed or may have left unfinished. If you didn't know, this was a tier in the Kickstarter campaign for somebody to buy the original artwork, and it's sold. So this is already going into somebody's hands, and not my fault, but it's an incredible piece. It's definitely something I'd love to have on my wall. Because man, oh man. All right. Yeah, just a little bit. It's like I ink it. Then I go back in and tweak the weights, pump some things up. A lot of artists, inkers, especially now, um, they don't really care about line weights. Everything is so linear, so flat. So, dead weight on is exactly the same on everything. That's because of coloring, which, you could definitely do more with coloring nowadays. But if you rely entirely on the colorists, then your book is going to look like Youngblood. Definitely, I like Robin. I like Rob's work, but his new work, is not as good. And it lacks a lot of things. But he relies way too heavily on the colorist. And it shows. The colorist is good, but you got to have a solid foundation on the page already. If you do figure work with hardly any detail, hardly any backgrounds, and everything else is just like overpowering coloring, it doesn't look so great. I've always been a fan of the art first of a comic. Right, so those lines, and just shadow a little bit. And if you haven't already noticed, I'm a spinner because those artists that can draw things without spinning a page, that's a freaking miracle. That's not within my abilities. My abilities rest more in my eye than in my skill. But I guess that's any artist. Welcome, Jax, is it? Or Nachos? Do I have a preferred inking tool? Well, I mean, I'm traditional, and I use traditional inking tools, which is what I'm using now is the Winsor Newton Series 7, number 3. I was just checking if I was correct. And Hunt 102 Quill. Those are the two I used most. And really, it depends on the work. What I'm making now is a lot of big figures. This is the whole piece. Sorry for the, but you can see I got a bunch left. But yeah, so because it's big figures and big lines, it would be crazy for me to use a quill. I could use it a little bit, but really, I could ink this whole cover with a brush. I kind of go through phases where I prefer using the brush, or sometimes I prefer using a quill. I might lean more towards a quill, but that's because, if you're inking comics, majority of what you're getting is a lot of little detail, and it's great to use a quill and go in there and really just go crazy with the detail. So to answer your question, I prefer both, but and it depends on what I'm working on, but probably quill more. It's definitely a lot of fun to ink little figures and to go in with a quill, and I can get real thick and thin lines going, but if I had to, I could use one or the other on everything, but a quill would take me longer. I have a very heavy-handed and not much control, so I use tech pens and brush pens. I used to split quills when I was trying. Yeah, that's definitely happened once or twice with me, where you split a quill, but that's a really heavy-handed. I do want to try, like, well, I use repeater those are technically tech pens. I have tried some brush pens. I had a great one, but I have no clue what it was. But I use those for like sketching, like conventions or signings, or just sketching at home or whatever. I do want to find one I'm really comfortable with, and that it's dependable. I won't use it for comic inking, but I do want to find a better one for actual, doing sketches for people and whatnot. So I'll do this. Early on in my career, if you're watching this and don't know, I have my older brother. Well, all my brothers are older than me, but the next one up is Jimmy, and Jimmy's also in the comic industry. And for the best part of the early part of his career, or the first half, maybe at this point, he was an inker, and initially I used only brush, and was most comfortable with brush. But he almost he almost forced me to try quill and to work with a quill, and so I really trained on everything initially when I started working on comics, because I knew I wanted to be better than I was. I kind of sucked when I first started working. But it took me a while to really get the hang of a quill. You know, like you say you're heavy-handed. I don't think I'm light-handed. It's just a matter of precision, like where you put that weight. All right, so want to do that. And even though like I'm venturing into penciling books myself, eventually I'll be working on my own comic, but also doing books for other people. Um, I still freaking love inking to the point of I'm never giving it up. You know, I always want to work on artists I haven't worked on. You know, I see new artists every day, and it's like, damn, I would love to ink that person. All right, oh, that's done. That's good. These are little lines. But yeah, I freaking love inking. You know, and as I get into penciling more, you know, I drew all my life, but um, penciling is a lot more challenging, and I need more time to do pages for penciling, of course. But um, I love it just as much. And it's Sheldon. Hey, Peter. From what I can make out, it looks. I know my camera sucks. I say it every episode here. If I maybe turn that out. Yeah, let me do this. Do I have to turn this off? Maybe. Nah, it's crappy, but I have to actually. That's a better look. All right, lights back. And this side. It's inking first. You or your bro. Well, you know, professionally speaking, my brother got started working for people in comics first. Um, you know, even though I've heard him on an interview or read him in interviews um, where, you know, he said he started in comics the same year I say, but he started like 4 or 5 years before me, maybe even longer. He kind of had a day job um, where he was still working in his day job while, you know, my first batch of years in comics. So I think, you know, I think technically he's referring to working full time in comics to a certain extent. I don't know. Um, but I do know, like, I try to definitely make my own path. I mean, you know, because we grew up and we were close, and we both love comics, and we both love you know, like movies and a lot of things, and so we had a lot of the same interest, and we both drew, and you know, um, and so like when he started in comics, you know, his thought was like, you know, he would do inking, and that would be an in, and he'd go from there. And I kind of, you know, like had the same thought when I came in. You know, it's like, I guess I thought eventually I'll get into drawing them. But you know, it was kind of a curse to get into inking because I loved it so much. Oh, nice! I can see it much better. Badass. Yeah, I know. I feel bad for my camera sucking, but I just don't have the brain cells to really work on it right now. I got way too much going on. Like I said, you know, it's like I took off last week working on this particular piece because I'm so flooded with other things I got to work on and get done. But yeah, definitely, like, you know, next year is going to be an upgrade to many things. But yeah, this is going to look badass on your wall. That's what I say. You know, what was it, Mitch? Well, I was watching his stream the other night. Let's talk about mailing out the pencils to this. He should be getting the Kickstarter money Saturday, maybe. Start that whole process. I look forward to seeing issue 1 in color. I read it, but it's, you know, I mean, I sort of met Mitch maybe like 6 months ago or whatever. And he was like, here's a couple of my books. Read them. Let me know what you think, and blah blah blah. And I read the first issue, but I forgot a lot about it. I can't wait to get it in my hands and read it. Next year is only 22 days away now. Yep, that's for sure. Blood Force, badass Force. Yeah. JJ, welcome. 2026. Who would have thunk it? It's crazy to think. I mean, I grew up in the 60s. Yeah, dude, that's gonna be our first framed artwork. First original art too. Awesome. Well, you don't have some of your art framed and hanging on your wall? You're pretty badass yourself. Hey guys, Kenyan, that's funny. Real, I always pronounce it Arcalian or whatever. That's my friend Jay, who's working with me on another project I got to get back on soon, which is Nice Monster for my Patreons. So welcome, Jay. And everybody's saying hello, hello, hello. What up? All right. Focus. What am I doing? Do. Yeah, next year is almost here. I'm looking forward to it. A lot more going on, and hopefully a lot more books progress to the point of, you know, at least talking about them. I hope to make a lot more progress next year. This year has definitely been a challenge, but a good challenge. Definitely been hustling more. Thanks. Now I haven't framed any of my own stuff. Practice and progress at the same time. For sure. You know, I do have, well, I have like, you know, most of what I sketch on is copy paper, and I have some of that hanging up. One of them, a couple of drawings are a book I'm drawing, so it's kind of like reference hanging on the wall. But I did a nice drawing that I put in a frame, except I don't know where it is at the moment because the cat kept knocking it down, so I put it somewhere else. It wasn't, yeah, it wasn't on the wall. It was kind of like on top of my microwave, off in my corner of the kitchen. All right. If this is do I have sketchbooks? No. Anything good, I toss online, like, you know, on Instagram. I posted tons of sketches. My sketches all look the same. It's all people faces. Sometimes something beyond just that, but for the most part, I'm always trying to, with my sketches, I'm not necessarily trying to sketch out images or scenes or characters. I'm mostly looking for technique and style. But yeah, I do post a lot of that. You know, if you go back to I've been on Instagram for years, so if you go all the way back, which there was like a button you can hit where you can go back to the beginning of somebody's Instagram. But it's just like a feed where you have to scroll to go backwards. I'm being distracted because my cat wants in. I don't want to let him in at the moment. But you know, the main reason why I don't do sketchbooks is because I'm left-handed and I've never been comfortable drawing in a sketchbook. You know, even if I flip it upside down, whatever, it's still awkward. It was always been awkward. All right, let me do this a little bit. I mean, I kind of wish I had a sketchbook and kept, you know, that sort of stuff, but if I haven't, like a lot of sketches I've done, especially those that are actually something. Jay's also left in it. Yeah, anything I've done sketch that was halfway decent, I either sold the sketches, even if it's just a pencil sketch on crappy paper, or I give stuff away. Like, if somebody buys a comic or buys some artwork or anything I have that's physical, throw in some sketches sometimes. Don't depend on it, but sometimes. And just flip it over and start from the back. Yeah, I tried that. It doesn't, like it's just made for right-handers, and I'm lefty, and now there's a cat war going on outside. I know who just showed up. Is a cat my cat doesn't like. There's a regular stray called Fluff, and then there's one that shows up once in a while, and he's Big Fluff. And oh my god, the cat war. Yeah, I might have to take a minute. All right, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Oh my god. Popo's gun is looking really rad. Oh yeah. Popo's gun is badass. So there's 4 cats outside, and they're all meowing at each other. So that's always fun. Um, Miss J's comment. The beginning of Instagram. Of course, you and I are all the entire time. That's eternity. You're the second artist in 2 days that said they don't have sketchbooks. I thought all had sketchbooks. And yeah. Yeah, just, like I sketch a lot. I make a point of it, even if it's crappy or whatever. Like um dead lights. Okay, so, yeah, let's do it this way. So it's just, random sketching faces and whatnot. I play with lines and shadow and love drawing hair, whatnot. But it's all just mindless, like keeping my hand busy. It's like I do find more than anything that's effective, if I just go through the motions every day, then my drawings are better, you know. And obviously, like, if if you want to become a great artist, you have to put a lot of thought into it. But I got so much work, I can't really invest too much time at the moment. The good news is that the cats outside have quieted down, so that's always good. I think I was about to say, I can't wait to see Lee color this piece. Lee's the colorist for Blood Force. Lee's actually pretty good. Rob Norman's the other that doesn't have them. I was like, where do you put your stickers? Put all my stickers on the cat. No. Any stickers that I like, I put them on the wall. um, I have a ton of stickers, but I like good ones. But I've yet to like actually go and get a sticker because I like it. It's all the stickers I've gotten were part of campaigns. And I hear the cat's outside again. Who cares? Mm. Oh, Jesus Christ. I know you guys can't hear what's happening around my life. No. There's a gang on my porch. Can't get rid of these cats. Um, let's see. Rob's pretty good, and I talked to him about doing a piece together at some point, but I got a lot to finish. Lee's colors fast too. He did a page during stream yesterday on Mitch's channel. Yep, yeah. Um, that that's crazy considering like how chatty he is in Mitch's streams, but he's also working. That's pretty funny. Also, what are you drawing when you go to a coffee shop? I mean, I either it's this is what I bring, like um, you know, one of these with copy paper. It's basically, you know, Xerox paper, copy paper, printer paper, whatever you want to call it, regular stacks of white paper. Either that or, I do want to venture to a coffee shop with my iPad because I definitely need to start learning the fundamentals of Procreate because eventually I'm going to be coloring with Procreate. Give the 4Ks 4 cans and record it in 4K. I'm right on it. Well, I mentioned earlier in the stream I gotta go get cat food. I only have one can, and I'm not giving it up to those cat bullies outside. So, Sheldon, do you have a sketchbook? You're a really good artist yourself. What did I just do? Okay. There's so much going on. It's like, all right. That's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Only one can catastrophe. He ain't feline. I have a lot of sketchbooks. Yeah. Do you do specific things with them, or is it just random stuff? Like I've heard lately more than a couple of people who have been some professionals and some like amateur artists trying to level up have been doing like they'll do pages of heads and pages of arms and pages of hands and pages of hair, like level up like that. Which I should probably do at some point. Like hands I could be better in. Proportions overall. I don't see myself as a Jen Lee type, but I at least want to be able to do that if the need arises. I'm so quiet now outside. I don't know what's worse, them screaming or them being quiet now. Uh, all right, so hmm. Trying to figure out a portion of this that kind of doesn't have any indications. Because that's his arm. Okay, that's all this. What if here Think of something. Think of something. Think of something. Don't like this. Yeah, this isn't necessary. Yeah, I'm gonna worry about that later. All right, that's something I wanted to do. I know what I wanted to do. I did the specific body parts for the first couple of years. I drew whatever comes to mind, or I look at reference for studying. Usually, clothing folds. Clothing folds are fun, especially done right. Do you know Kelly Jones, Kyle Hutz? They both have similar styles. Um, they're both fantastic artists. They both do mostly horror, but do folds really good. Kelly Jones is currently, I think he's doing a Dracula Kickstarter Dracula book. I'm not sure if he's done 2 already, but it appears to be a series. He used to be a popular Batman artist for a while. Well, I say popular, but he was a taste to a lot of people, but I always loved his work. Since I started going to my comic, I've just been doing layouts and writing dialogue. Sometimes I lose a sketchbook I was using and scrap the idea and then use another sketchbook. Well, that's not efficient. You come up with the greatest idea for your book and then you lose your sketchbook and it's gone. So you do the writing of your book as well? I wasn't aware. I will say the artwork, I love it. Do you ink yourself and color yourself? Or do you have any sort of team on your book, or is it all you? I am fully aware of Kelly and Kyle, but never studied them. Oh, I think it would be highly worth it. They both do amazing things. It's something I have in mind to like really sit down at one point and figure out why these guys so great. Um, one of my favorite interviews of recent times was Kelly Jones being interviewed by Uncle Jerk on YouTube. Just type in Uncle Jerk, you'll find his channel. He did an excellent interview with Kelly. Truly inspirational. First book was all me. So now you got a team. It's do you have a wrench here? You have a wrench here, yeah, right? Um, Share a link to where people could find your book. What's it called? Occult something? Or something occult? And that goes for everybody. Like if you have a wrench here and you have your a project of your own, feel free to share it in the chat. That's kind of neat. Meaning, originally I was intending to not be neat. No, that will work. That's fine. Let's see. It was suggested I get an editor for the writing and a letterer and colors. So I got those for this second one. Well, I mean, I kind of know where you're coming from. Like, I want to do everything too, to a certain extent. Definitely production, like putting the book together and doing the design stuff isn't my forte per se, and lettering too. But I did initially try to get a colorist. I used two people and both failed me. So I decided I'm going to do colors too. It's a wise thing to use an editor. But I'm reluctant to on my book, only because I don't want anybody dictating story or how I tell the stories. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one day I will get an editor, but I'm too controlling in my brain. Except the lettering, I want to do that. I'm getting better at it. Yeah, in lettering, I've done some because I've done some webcomic pages in the past. And like in my head, I'm good at it. Meaning, like, lettering, part of lettering is a process of putting the letters in the right place, and not everybody is good at that. That itself is a skill. But definitely, like, there's people out there that go crazy with the lettering. I'm not too much of a fan of, like, when different lettering gets colored, colorful, or using different typefaces for every character, or like lettering should disappear. Like, you should be able to read it and understand it all clearly, but it should also be invisible to a degree. Not yet. It's still developing. You are your own editor. Yeah. I mean, Jay knows. I'm like, I have very specific ideas about everything, even working with other people. I'm like, um, I kind of see creating comics as to a degree, as like the same thing as being a novelist. It's like, I don't want to, I want to create the thing, and sure, like, have somebody look at it for typos, or correct grammatical errors or whatever, but, like, anything else, it's all me, because people are gonna, point at me and say this sucks or this is great or whatever. Like. Make sure what's on the page is like. Um, it's my fault either way. I'm just happy being good. You are, you are. I want to get this cover done this week. I want to get the third pinup for Sword and Sorcery magazine done this week. I got pages to ink. I got other things, but I do want to get to the first page of Nice Monster, but also at the same time, I really got to get other stuff out first. So it's coming up soon, hopefully this week. I wish it was faster, but also I'm very particular about everything I do. So it is what it is. I'm not necessarily the guy that shuffles a dozen projects successfully. But that's currently my situation. I hope by constantly being in this situation that I do make some progress on speeding up, but I'm launching another crowdfunder in March that will have a catch-up tiers. Someone needs volume 1 of Occult Descent now on Fund My Comic. Awesome, awesome. Check it out, everybody. There's a Sword and Sorcery magazine. So, yeah, I became aware of it. Allison McGlon is a friend of mine, and her friend is the guy who runs it. And it's called swordandsorcerymagazine.com is the link for that. It might be in my description box and below the video. But they essentially what they do is it's short stories, and they did do a Backer Kate crowdfunder for a volume 1 of a collection of short stories. So the pinups I did will be in that book. I redid 2. I'm doing a third and final one. I posted the 2 I did on Instagram and Facebook and everywhere else. Well, not everywhere, but lots of places. So those are pieces I penciled and inked. So that's my art, for better or worse. I really liked the first one I did. The second one was okay. It's the first one I loved. I was gonna say I've been seeing you do that for a while now. The pinups you talk about, Jay? Okay, cool. Yeah, so Sorcerer Magazine.com. It's kind of like Heavy Metal Magazine. It's kind of like the farthest thing from Heavy Metal Magazine. No, it's just I guess his name is Curtis. Curtis is into sword and sorcery type tales, and has this website where where people write short stories for him, and they're all there on the site. And the collection that has illustrations, it's just that it's the collection of short stories, and they and each illustration is based off of the story it's from. Oh, juggling projects. Yeah, I've been doing that for quite some time. Well, I I think like maybe 3 projects would be a good balance. Um, I'm essentially like I make my living doing what I do. I don't have outside income. I don't have money in the bank. um, so because projects get delayed or shelved or hiccups happen, I've had in the last year, I've had like two of the best gigs possible not happen yet. Um, and a good gig would save me from a lot of other extra work. Make some sales in art. I sell some comics now and then, but majority of what I make is because of getting inking gigs, and I'm trying to work towards making better money as it is. But the current situation is like I'm just getting by. And that has everything to do with my workload. Like, I want to see a lot of these projects through. And so I'm like taking a hit in a sense. And it's a lot of extra work, and whatever, like, it's all just freelance. It's not a regular job. It's not a regular gig. And you have to bounce with things that happen on the fly. And it's not always easy, and there's no cookbook to it all. But it's definitely like got hit with a couple of bad breaks along the way this year. Um, but still surviving, still working. I've been spending more time posting and being interactive lately. And that seems to have a lot more people interested in me and my work, and possibly working with me in the future. So it's like next year, I've been I've been told like I'm getting work by 3 or 4 other people I'm not currently working with, and that's great and all fine. if things line up right, which, you know, they seem to never line up right, but do what you can do. When you take on inking gigs, how many pages do you need to get done in a week or a month? I mean, it's all random. It's like, I'm not fast. I'm like, you know, at best, I ink a page a day. But, you know, current projects are like the opposite of that. Like, I'll show you something in a minute. All right. I did this a lot neater than I was thinking initially, but that's fine. It's more atmosphere, and the focus should be on them. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to clean my brush, and then I want to show you something. So stick around, talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in a couple minutes. Dry my hands, but sure I dry the brush. All right. Take a seat over there. I showed this. Let's see if I do this without lights. What if I do that? I don't know. I'll bring it to the camera. So this is like the big gig. This is something I'm going to be working on for months, but like you can see I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do these. Because I don't want to do a bunch of lines and then go in with white and so this is my friend Lyndon Gardner on pencils, and he pencils digitally. So he does techniques that aren't necessarily something you would do traditionally. But anyway, I'll figure it out, and I'll probably fake it, whatever. But this page is almost done, but it's a lot of work, it's I would say above average. This is like the next page. I barely started. When you pencil digital and do a million little creatures, you know, like it's easy to do it digitally, but then to ink it traditionally, I know I'm going to go out of my mind. Then all these million lines up here, it's going to be fun and frustrating, and you know, but yeah, this is like, I would not say this is typical. Like a couple of the later pages get lighter, as far as the amount of detail and whatnot. But yeah, like these take me more than a day, and you know, I think we're going to crowdfund it in February, maybe. I hope to at least have a chunk of it done by then. But I need to focus on getting a bunch of other work handled, so I could focus more on that. A lot of what I've been doing is keeping projects alive, which is a lot. You know, it's not necessarily paperwork. It's you know, messaging people back and forth and making sure everybody is on the same page and all that. Let's see, okay, so juggling projects, inking, okay. Just says I had to get dinner, but before I did, I heard you say no money in bank. Well, no real money. Like I have some money I'm going to buy cat food and maybe some milk and some other things. I don't know. We went to go find the cat's fillet after you said that. Yeah. Yeah, what do you keep even saying? Haha, just kidding. So yeah, some jobs fall through and put on hold. Now he's grabbing something. Yes. Yeah, it's like the best gig. The best gig that came my way that hasn't happened yet. That I thought was, you know, happening anytime soon, but then it was not a possibility, but it will happen one day. Was Well, it's going to be an online comic, like a web comic, but not on a web comic website. And that will be 4 pages a week, and it will be regular and ongoing. So a regular gig, 4 pages a week, pay me my rate. That's all I need. You know, like I could relax in so many other ways. Yes, I was washing my brush because it's easy to mess up a brush tip. If I don't keep washing them, they're expensive to go through. The big gig. Well, it looks cool. Horror comic. Horror comic. It could be. I guess technically it is. I don't know if there's any out and out horror in it, but it has a horror elements. It's essentially it's a book called Faction Paradox. We had back in 2003 a couple of issues of it come out on via Image Comics, and it didn't have the numbers. Now, this, what I'm working on now, is it's going to have all those pages from the regular comic, which were the first and second issue plus 6 pages of issue 3 included. But it's going to be a graphic novel. It's going to be complete. But it's a choose your own adventure to get one of a couple of different endings. So you read it, you read it like a regular comic, but you can choose a couple of different paths. And it's a different writer from the original, what was going to be an ongoing series. And he got permission from the original guy. Because technically, Faction Paradox was the title of a Doctor Who novel that this all originally started from, that the writer wrote himself and got permission from the Doctor Who people to use everything in the novel that wasn't Doctor Who related, and made that into a comic series. So it has a very long and interesting past. But yeah, so the graphic novel will be crowdfunding early next year. So look forward to that. Hey, Montoya, welcome. Those creatures look like spirits in Princess Mononoke's forest. They actually look like little aliens, which is, I think, more close to what they're supposed to be. And people say hello. And yes. Dale Keelan still uses the brush he used for inking Pit #1. He must take really good care of his brush. Holy cow. Now, mind you, I think I had a regular Winsor Newton #3 brush. I could swear it for like 9 years. But Pit #1, what was that? Like late 90s, maybe, at the latest? That's a long time. That's like over 25 years. Yeah, it's like I'm not the best at cleaning a brush. I've been better at times and not so good at other times, but it really, if you want your brush to last, you gotta at least try to be on top of it. And let me, where did I put you? Okay. I used to, I've used regular water and dishwashing liquid to clean a brush. But I got this. It's the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver. And that's something that's Tony Moore. Is it Tony Moore? No. Strangers in Paradise. Mentioned in the video that he uses, and I got that, and it's much better than dishwashing liquid. It's Web Machine 93. Oh, okay. Huh. When did Image start? Was it 91? Because I feel like, Pit was the second wave Image or something. 33 years ago. 30 more. Okay. Who's the artist from Walking Dead? The original artist of the comic. He's Tony. Oh, wait, Tony. Is it Tony Moore? Terry. Names are too close together. But yeah, that's a hell of a long time if he's using the same exact brush. God bless him. I'm jealous now. And there's a guy that really like uses his brush. Like, you know, I may feel like I'm a perfectionist, but he is a perfectionist. Okay, February 92. All right. Well, I guess technically then a year later is the second wave of books that they did. You know, for those that don't know, like they did finally put together. It was like the first 4 issues and a couple extras, a collection of hit, which they'll be continuing to do trades of Pit until they're all caught up, and then there's going to be a Pit omnibus. I'm personally I'm waiting for the omnibus. Keaton said he was asked if he wanted to be a founder, but he passed. Then he seen the money they were making out of it. That makes sense, you know. If you listen to Mark Silvestri or Todd McFarlane, I think they both pretty much say that. Like they asked everybody, "Hey, you want to join us? Want to join us?" And you know, like because it was they were taking a chance, and you know, lots of other creators realized that, and I mean, you know, this sort of thing happened a lot, but it was different with Image. That you know they walked away when they were on top. Because you know there have been gatherings of popular artists went off to do their own create their own projects, and not many you know became anything. So or wait, he didn't become a founder because he would have had to move and he didn't want to do that and just wanted to make some comics with them. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like technically, he was never a founder or a partner. And he's not even part of Image now. Like you know, he's being published by somebody else. So there's all of that. But his work is even more phenomenal now. Like he, you know, all I see is like mostly covers or pinups, and only a few pages I've seen him produce in the last 3-4 years or whatever his return has been. But yeah, so I definitely want to get some of these thin lines. Like I might have to just like these and these are making me nervous. The other ones I should be fine on. But these and these, I specifically want to get precise. So I'll probably just use a ruler, but everything else I could probably do by hand. And yeah, I kind of been saving the best part, which is the phases. But I'll do all the shadow lines first, get those done, finish off the hair I haven't done, and then I'll do the faces, and then I'll be done. So yeah, one more sit down. So probably Thursday. I'll come back here and stream. Same time, same place. Let's see. I feel like my voice is gone. He said that he was going to make another issue soon. Yeah, I mean, I've heard him say that, but that was 2 years ago. Looking pretty awesome there. Thank you. Appreciate it. Here, I'll do a. You can see it better. See it all better close up. But yeah, this is gonna be a badass cover, print, sticker, whatever you want it to be. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. But yeah, so I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna grab myself some dinner, then go out, make sure to get some cat food and whatnot. But if you haven't already, give this video a like, subscribe to my channel, trying to grow it. Go over my channel, like when you have free time. I would suggest checking out my playlist for a series I did called Studio Synergy. Studio Synergy was fun. That I did before the pandemic, and it was what a lot of people do now. It was having a crowd of people talking about a subject on a weekly basis at times, and I did it. Sometimes it was random. But yeah, go watch a lot of my past videos, get my hours watched up. I'm like barely, I think it's barely 200 watched hours on my channel. I got well over 1,000 subscribers, and that's great. But every little bit helps. So as Montoya said, looking pretty awesome, killer. I second that. Welcome, Chris. I don't think I've seen you in the chat. Catch you next time. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Have a great night, and keep making art and keep making comics. I'll be here again Thursday, so see ya.